For a couple of people to get in here before we get this chat started. So, welcome to Fighting Words. Um, as you can see, I got my little display in here. Let me make sure you can see the whole thing. I'll adjust. This is my very first stream, so very, very excited. But yeah, just waiting for a couple of people to get in here, and we really need to talk about the Snyder Cut. I'm excited. I'm excited to see people in there. As I could see, we got a couple of followers who are joining in. And yeah, let's get ready. Wow. People are just coming in here. So just going to give it one more minute. Once these viewers are in here, yeah, people are coming up. We will get started. So feel free to put something in this chat. Show your love, do what you gotta do. And I really hope you guys are out and moving today. So, you got things in the chat. Come out and talk to us. I see everybody had about 30 minutes, which is great to really do things that we needed to do. 4 hours though. We started off with 4 hours. So for those of you who are just coming in, I'm glad. As you can see, we got a bunch of followers hopping in right now. So that's dope. But yeah, welcome to Fighting Words. We're here to just have some fun and to really talk about the Snyder Cut. So let's get started. As you know, I'm going to go through spoilers today. So if you have not gone through the 4 hours, I would definitely tell you to dip because we gonna talk crazy spoilers today. But I'll start off spoiler free. Just talk about my overall thoughts, and you guys could let me know here in the chat as well what you guys are thinking. But I want to start at the beginning for all of you guys because for those of you who remember, I don't know, what was it, 5, 6 years ago when the movie came out, even beyond that, when it was in production, and Zack Snyder had to take a step back, I just remember him gracefully taking that step back. I don't recall him really talking bad about Joss Whedon, and some of that could have been professional courtesy, it's whatever. But the biggest thing that I wanted to take away from that, yes, welcome. I see Linda's in here. What's up, y'all? But yeah, the biggest thing I wanted to really take away was that initially Zack Snyder had no issue with Joss Whedon taking his position, and it wasn't until he saw, of course, all the changes he made, but also the negative response that the Snyder Cut really started to take form. And for the past half a decade, we have been subjected to this big pissing contest where, Zack Snyder is talking about how much better his formula was, and, the masterpiece that we missed out on. And, I was just really, I don't know. I gotta say, I was nervous because I was talking so much ish about it. And then when I started to see the pictures of the Joker, things from the set, I just pictured an entirely different movie. And I see a lot of people talk about how it is an entirely different movie. And to that, I want to say, I don't think that it was a totally different movie. I think that it was the same movie with the pieces that we were missing. And to be honest, a lot of the adjustments that I saw, I was like, these are the adjustments that we made ourselves. You know what I mean? We were talking about this forever. And we were essentially giving him the formula, this is what we need to see. I don't know if you guys realize, but a lot of this movie was reshot. It's not like these were scenes that he had together that he put on there. We saw the recycled scenes, of course, in the movie. But a lot of the scenes that I liked most were recently shot. And you can tell Amy Adams definitely looked like some years have passed. You can just see in the way Gal Gadot looks totally different from scene to scene. She has had like a baby and stuff in between them, so she's a totally different woman. Um, some of that is cheating, y'all. Like, do y'all agree? Like, I really think that he shouldn't do it like apples to apples, knowing that like it's different. I'm gonna just go to chat, see if anyone's added something. Did no one have faith going into this? I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really have faith going into it, but I was kind of prepared for it to be amazing, because the way that people were like hyped about it. And I'm not saying that it's worse than the other movie. Absolutely not. It's a better movie. But inherently, it's going to be a better movie with 2 extra hours tacked on. Like, he gave us everything that the original movie was missing. And if he was under the confines in terms of time, without the references and stuff that, Josh Whedon had. And by no means am I like this big Josh Whedon lover. I just felt like there were things that, he put there because he only had a certain amount of time to tell this story. And the biggest flaw with this movie and the original movie is that there were no predecessors to that movie. And I think that for both movies is what was lacking. I still, even with the extra hours tacked on, I didn't care for these characters like the way that I did before. And I think time would have done that. Like, if he had dropped the first half, and then I had to wait to get to the second half and stuff like that, I might have been more invested. So in the chat, let's see what we got. He gave us 2 movies in one. Yeah, he did. And that's what I'm saying. He gave us more than 2 movies. I want to say a smooth 3 movies, in this. And I don't know if we can compare that then to the one movie, right? If we're watching something that they did in 3 movies and comparing it to one movie, that's not fair. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's really get into this. I see you guys asking about like my thoughts on Cyborg and stuff like that. I got y'all, man. I kind of just set it up so we could go through it side by side because it's just so much information. But the biggest thing is that I wanted to touch on was the reason why we felt this was all of the things we felt like Marvel was doing right. I felt like Snyder was doing in this movie, right? Like, I felt that Marvel take of like making it episodic almost, kind of like a series in like this theatrical form. Even down to the plot, I felt like this was the Avengers that I was watching. Darkseid, the way he was introduced, seemed like the whole chronicle of what we were watching with Thanos. And I think the biggest issue the DCEU has done is that they didn't introduce Darkseid a long time ago. Even him, like, I'm going to do it myself type of thing, how he was this, like, leering threat that the heroes didn't actually have to face, at the moment. Down to him collecting something to get absolute power being his motivation. The bigger issue I had with that is that, I don't know, the motivation didn't seem enough for me there, which we'll get to in a second. But I'm going to read some of these comments. Let's be honest, the first Avengers wasn't that great. The characters most of them had an established backstory. And that's what I'm saying. Even in these 4 movies, I just felt like they still weren't introduced in a way that I would have truly liked, in which I didn't care about them. Like, I saw Wonder Woman, I saw her doing these amazing things, and I was like, do we really need Superman more than Wonder Woman? Like, just things like that wasn't established for me before we got there. He wasn't teased. Yeah, he definitely wasn't teased. Darkseid wasn't teased like this. The Aquaman was supposed to show up with all of Atlantis, Wonder Woman, and Amazon. Yeah, Flash with all the humans. I think that would have been cool. I just think that they needed to do other movies, and all the money that they used for this Snyder cut. I think they should have just paid him some bread to do some extra movies on there. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, let's move on here. Let's go to the characters. Superman, the return of Superman. I know that this was the biggest gripe um, that people had with the original. Of course, Henry Cavill didn't shave his mustache. So mustache gate was a huge thing, but also that they didn't put Superman in that cool black suit, which honestly I think is iconic. But is it like 100% necessary? I'm not quite sure, unless they made it that it was part of like him getting infused with that alien tech, which I think is an interesting avenue to go down. But besides that, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I never truly liked Superman. I would watch his things, especially like in the Dark Ages when we didn't have the MCU or the DCEU, and we didn't like they didn't play things as often. Superman was like the only thing you can grab onto besides Batman. But besides that, he always seemed really one dimensional for me. And even here, there's nothing about it that was two dimensional for me. I thought that Superman, there was that like scariness that came when he came on, where it's like this looming threat of like, can they beat him? Is he gonna kill all of the Justice League? I actually felt that for a while, when they brought him back to life. But I just never been a big fan, and Henry Cavill, nothing to him or to Zack Snyder. It's really hard to create a character. I guess the only way I would really like it is if everyone like made a note about like how annoying and like boy wonder he is. Um, at the end of the Snyder Cut, he was in the blue and red. That's what I'm talking about. Some of the things that they did in the Snyder Cut, I know that they added on because we complained about it. And Zack Snyder did not do this out of his own genius. He took in what we took, which I think is admirable, right? To take in our criticisms and expand on that. But the black suit does make him seem more vicious and scarier. I'm not gonna lie. I did not like the transition of him like washing everyone, and then all of a sudden, it was just like, oh, he saw Lois Lane, and it like snapped him out of it. I feel like I just feel like the connections in the DCEU are always like lopsided, and I could never relate to them. Right? The Lois Lane Clark Kent connection is obviously a lot more established than the one we saw with Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman. But these gods, like putting these people above everything else, I don't know. I don't know. That's his baby mama. Yeah. There was a little Easter egg to say that she's pregnant. That doesn't turn out very well. So we're going to see where they go with that. But I don't know. I don't know where they're going. I feel like Zack Snyder mentioned that he's not doing a follow-up, which also infuriated me more about how this came out. Because with him not doing a follow-up and the movie clearly being, it's clearly something that's setting up other projects, I feel like is irresponsible. They're going to be, I guarantee you, there are going to be so many threads that are going to be left out, that, I just don't think, I don't know. I just feel like we hyped him up. We gave him this juice, for this movie that honestly didn't knock my socks off. Yeah, the writing was a little sloppy. A little sloppy, yo. But we'll see how that goes there. So let's talk about Cyborg. This is a character I do have to say does not need his own movie. I don't know. There's not much to Cyborg in terms of how I think they would have tied him into the story where I've been like, he needs an entire movie. What I wish would have happened was after Man of Steel, they did a second Superman movie, and then a Batfleck movie with Cyborg, where it's kind of like establishing both those characters together. Or I think instead of Cyborg, I think having Martian the Manhunter would have been fire. It could have been that he had some interactions with Doomsday. That's why he was there. I think it would have been a great way to set up this movie if that was the storyline they came up, especially since they had the actor already picked out. I just thought it was kind of weird that they were sitting on this information for so long. They tease him in this movie and then don't truly do anything. I don't know. I would have really enjoyed the Jon Stewart. They were teasing a lot of things, you guys. They had, of course, the Green Lantern, and having Jon Stewart would have been great, especially to inject some diversity here. But it's really about this Manhunter that I was really tight about. Why pull him in? And why have him here to talk mess? I feel like he walked up to Lois and was like, yo, you need to give up on Superman. Get some buns on your own, and then dipped. And that's literally the only thing he did for the story. And I feel like people were just like so excited to see that he's here. But honestly, I think that he would have served the story better than Cyborg, if I'm being 100% truthful. So people were saying he got his origin story in the movie. I agree if you're talking about Cyborg. But there were just parts of this origin story that I didn't like. The biggest one was his dad's connection to the motherboard. I got like, yo, his son is alive because of the motherboard. But at the end, it was like, I have to live for this science. And once again, spoiler alert for you guys. When he goes to sacrifice himself in this box, right? I was confused. I was like, why? First of all, it did absolutely nothing, right? They like took it. It didn't even like slow him down for him to do that. But I don't know. I just felt like his whole obsession with this mother box. I felt like the story didn't grow the way that I wanted to. And I think if the Cyborg story was yet another story to bring this Justice League movie, in which they did it maybe with Ben Affleck together, a lot of this would have seemed way more fleshed out. I just think it was alright. It was a superheater box so they could track the box. Why stay in the box? Yeah, I don't know. Let's talk about Batfleck. I want to take a moment, though, because I did a post months ago, y'all. And when I did this post about, like, I was excited that Ben Affleck came back, and I got a lot of hate. Like, people hated Batfleck, and if I'm being real, I think that Ben Affleck is one of the better Batmans. I think he's excellent. I personally think he was a better Batman than Val Kilmer, for sure. I think he's a better Batman. On the fence, honestly, Kristen Bale. And the reason why I'm on the fence is not because of Bale's performance, but because of how great the other movies are. It's really hard for me to really compare the two. But all in all, I think Ben Affleck was enough. I love that he knows that money will get him everywhere. And that he does great with it. He was a lot more charming. They showed both his lives, right? Yeah, someone said that Christian Bale. Yes, I think that he has a look and a build that is a little bit better than Christian Bale. Christian Bale is this small, like, British man. I want Batman to be huge. I want him to be scary. And there was just a fear there. And I think the reason why a lot of people are combating it is because the movie that Kristen Bale was in was way objectively better than the Ben Affleck movies of Batman. But in terms of like who looks more, and I'm not saying that Kristen Bale was bad, but who looks more like Batman, who embodies Batman, I really think it's Ben Affleck over Kristen Bale. I'm gonna say it, and I mean whatever, y'all already tight. because thought the movie was just okay. May as well get y'all all the way tight. Someone said Michael Keaton is Beetlejuice and nothing more. I can't say that. Michael Keaton was a totally different interpretation of Batman. And it's apples to oranges there. So, I don't know. I couldn't say that. But definitely if I'm comparing that same dark aesthetic, whatever, to modern Batman, which is Christian Bale, to Ben Affleck, I'm giving it to him. What's up to everybody who's rolling up in? I see new viewers in there. Welcome to Fighting Words. We are doing a spoiler review on the Snyder Cut. We're about to move on here, but yeah, we just finished my final thought on Batman, which was that I think Ben Affleck was a better one. And I think he did great in both performances. I don't like one over the other. I think that we got to like this Batman more and understand his motivation more. But in terms of like performance-wise, definitely thought they were more or less the same. Let's talk about my girl Wonder Woman, y'all. Couple of things I want to say about Wonder Woman. 1984 did not do her justice. I know you guys think I'm like this huge 1984 lover. And it's not that. It's that I thought it was great. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was entertaining. Did I think it was the best iteration that we've seen of Wonder Woman? No. I think it was more or less just a okay movie, like everything else in DCEU. And just the hate that was coming out of here, and how you guys were like really harsh critics on this. When Justice League was, I think, equally as trash, the original one. And truth be told, there were moments in here that dragged out just as much. And it's crazy how a lot of these negative critiques, you guys were like experts at critiquing Wonder Woman, and here I just feel like you guys are a lot more lenient. But watching Wonder Woman in the Snyder Cut made my view of Wonder Woman in 1984, it made my scoring of that movie lower. Just to see what she was capable of, and just what a different iteration she was in this movie compared to 1984. And if I'm being real, the first movie too, Wonder Woman is violent. She was raised in violence. She was raised for results. And I like how here she murking people, which was a huge problem in 1984, which was confusing to me. I didn't know when she made that rule up to like not kill people, to be gentle, when that was never Wonder Woman's steez. Like, as a bank robber, if you had to choose someone to get killed, to get apprehended by, out of the big three, Wonder Woman is not the one you want to choose. Batman is going to burst your windpipe, sure. Superman is going to embarrass you. Wonder Woman will more than likely kill you, and wouldn't think twice about it. And that bank scene, her moving, dodging the bullets, was incredible. She was regulated to a side character. Agreed. She was moved. I felt like she wasn't a main thing. And I think that's something else that Justice League needs to figure out. The Justice League is supposed to be a balance between the big three, as people join on. And I just really felt like that wasn't there. I'll give her credit for the first because it's an origin story. I'm just reading some of these. Let's see what we got here. Wonder Woman and Amazonian scenes were really impressive in this. I agree. Even in the first movie, when I saw that they got the box from the Amazons, I was like, dang, was it that easy? Like, it seemed a lot easier. And I like that they really gave him a run for his money. And I don't have an image for it, but I loved the flashback to when Darkseid kind of got scared off of Earth the first time. And just watching him get, cleaned up by Ares and Zeus. And just the scenes there to watch some members from the Green Lantern Corps out there fighting the good fight. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's honestly one of my favorite scenes in there. I love the way that they show violence on here, and show how powerful people like Wonder Woman, and Superman or Zeus or whoever are compared to the layman. I thought that was pretty cool. Justice League is basically a Batman movie. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The Justice League should have been a balance, and that balance wasn't achieved. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay there. Now, let's talk about the Joker. And I put him slap dab in the middle here, because that's how I thought the Joker would be. It was advertised that the Joker would be up in this movie. You know, they said, they were like, he got some scenes, but they made it seem like he would propel the story forward. And I posted today about it. Everybody's like, you meant not watch the movie. I've watched the movie. An epilogue and a prologue are not part of a story, which is why they're labeled as such. It's something that has happened after it. And truth be told, this prologue didn't feel like the story. It felt like a new story. It could have been a mid-scene credits. It wasn't a movie. He wasn't in the movie. He was an afterthought that, he redid. And he added the notes we talked about. Honestly, Jared Leto's performance was the same. It was the same. It was the same, y'all. And y'all acting like it wasn't, but it was. It was basically a cameo. I felt the same. I didn't think Leto was awful. I don't think in his first iteration. I think if we're looking at a version of like Jack Nicholson in 2021, I'm thinking a Tekashi 6ix9ine type Joker. You know what I mean? Like, I think that that's how it would be. I don't know. I just thought it was okay. I thought his performance was okay. I don't think it was like terrible, like Lex Luthor's performance, but I thought it was okay. Yeah, but I'm just trying to see if you guys have any other thoughts here. But yeah, it was an afterthought, and y'all defended him for playing us. Just like we were mad at Marvel for kind of teasing a lot of things in WandaVision and pretending, having us think it was Mephisto and it wasn't. I'm going to say for this, don't dangle things to get us there. We were going to be here regardless. And if he wasn't in the movie, he didn't need to be. That's fine. But I'm excited for that. So someone's saying Terrence is saying I like the design better in the Suicide Squad. I like Leto, and I felt like he should have been the main villain in the Suicide Squad. I 100% agree that Jared Leto should have been the main villain. I think it would have been a better story in the Suicide Squad. I'm just tired of watching people fight beams that go straight into the sky. Like, I like the thought of showing how menacing this was. I would have loved to see the conflict between Harley trying to apprehend him and things like that. But yeah, James Petty is saying his performance is trash. He has absolutely, he had nothing to do with the storyline here. So, shame on us. Shame on us, yo. Let's talk about the Flash, y'all. So if you guys are new to my page, Ezra is not my favorite actor. And that's more of a personal choice. I mean, sometimes he's good. Like, I thought he was okay in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Him, but more or less, I wasn't a fan of his Flash specifically. But there are aspects of this Flash that I love. And one of it is, this is the first time I've seen the Flash look like he's not like running at super speed, but he's running with the speed force. Like the way that they do the lightning and the way they were animating it, it looked like he was touching, like he was funneling the speed force, and that's how he was moving versus like, I just do everything super fast. And I think that's such an important part of who the Flash is and his powers and understanding his powers. Him running super fast is why him accessing and being a part and having the speed force flow through him is what makes his abilities different from Superman. And people forget that. People forget that. And I understand it's probably expensive to animate it that way. Like, you need a movie budget, and that's why I like the CW Flash is the way that it is. But I do have to say, one thing they did do was do that right. Now, in terms of him being the comic relief, that's kind of, well, it would be more of a Wally West thing, but I didn't mind it. We needed it. It's an incredibly dark character, movie in general. I kind of liked him being that type of person, because honestly, I prefer when Cyborg is it, but Cyborg was not in the place to be the comic relief, obviously, so had to take him out. And I don't like Aquaman like that. Like, he just seemed like this bro, and honestly, the way they added more scenes in this version, I actually liked him less because of it. So let's look what we got in the chat here. You like the delicate nature in which he had to interact with objects while running, a new way of expressing his power. Absolutely. Showing that, I also like that they showed that if he touched something, it would come with such force because he's touching it so quickly. It reminds me, y'all, the Justice League show, which if you guys haven't watched it, is incredible. It's animated. I feel like it's on HBO Max now too. There's an episode where the Flash switches brains with Lex Luthor, and in it they show how dangerous being part of the speed force is, because of course Lex Luthor with that power has nefarious intentions, and I feel like this is another way showing us how dangerous he really is. He truly is, and I love that. He didn't like his running form. Yo, that's not on. We can't help it if Ezra never really ran in his life. I'm sure it was a lot better than when he came on set initially. They probably worked on it hard. Yeah, Cyborg doesn't fit as comic relief in Justice League. That's more of his role in the Titans. Agreed. And that's what I'm saying. I would have preferred this type of Justice League that they're rolling out for us. I would have preferred Martian Manhunter in lieu of Cyborg. I think they should have just kept Cyborg with the Titans, either in the Titan show, which they can't. He's on Doom Patrol. But I actually didn't mind Ray Fisher's performance with the extras in here. So, but I'm sad. I kind of like him as a comic relief, and I liked him on the Titans the most. So, yo, someone said it looks like he was flinging shit while he was running. Y'all, that's the thing. If you really doing the run, you definitely got to keep the hands and cut the wind. And if you're throwing, that's what Barry Allen does in the TV show. He kind of throws like this too, like he's throwing something. So I don't know. I didn't mind his form that bad. And, you know, you got to remember, like, Ezra Miller is this like emo kid. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I don't know. Y'all think we going to see like, I don't know, Jesse Owens running. There's no way. I hope one day they do a full Martian Manhunter. They better, or else his cameo was nothing but to get us hyped if they don't do a full movie. When he did the ninja poses fuego though. Yeah. So this is my question, y'all. Let's move on. How did y'all feel about Aquaman? I thought his character was kind of weird here. Jason, like, I don't know how I feel about bro, surfer, Aquaman, because that's what I get out of him. He's just like this, you know, he's Johnny Tsunami, basically, doing these things. I don't really like this iteration of him. And it got really weird when those, like, I don't know where they were, that Finnish, Swedish type country, when old boy rolled up and, you know, Bruce Wayne is talking to him and he dips and the girls start singing that like eerie song and sniff his sweater. All I could think of, and everyone I was with, we were laughing, like, so he's definitely started a cult there and he's sleeping with all these women. And it was just such a weird vibe. Oh yeah, Aquaman gave me weird Johnny Bravo vibes. Facts. Duke Nukem. Every like problematic bro-y character he gave me here. It was just really weird. Yeah, Aquaman is basically an MCU character put into a slightly darker DCEU. Yeah, just something about his tone, the way that they approached this specific character was weird. And too light for the tone they had here. And that's the thing. I think they feel like the only way, like, Aquaman was a joke for so long that I think that they feel like they need to make him cooler or whatever. And that's why we got this iteration. But there's a way to make him dark. There's some dark-ish. Especially since they've announced that they were, or supposedly supposed to be doing a Flashpoint. Doing one where, like, mirrored, this way we could get rid of Amber Heard. Maybe we could say that Wonder Woman killed her. I would have loved to see that. Just some darkness there. There's just so much darkness that's in his story that we could have pulled out. Yeah, what the fuck up was up with that song? I did not like that song, y'all. I'm so glad y'all thought that was weird, just like me. It was really, really culty and weird. Yeah, I feel like he was capped. It's an odd character. I would have preferred the upbeat Prince Aquaman that we're used to. Yeah, I don't know. He could have been a comic relief if they didn't make him this. And then it would have maybe added some seriousness that we needed from the Flash if they did that. But yeah, I wasn't the biggest of fan. They made him a Sons of Anarchy Aquaman. That's a fact. Yeah, good. Yeah, it definitely is. Now let's talk about Steppenwolf. If I give this one, the greatest critique I would give is, yes, Steppenwolf, he looks great. He looks great here. He looks way better, and he seemed like a legitimate threat. I like that they interacted with him multiple times. I like that I like what Darkseid was like, you talk about this one plan and you owe me like 50,000. Plan is like, get out of here. And just like the fear on his face and just how he was interacting with Darkseid. I liked him. I liked him a lot. I just didn't like, I don't know, something about the motivations here. Not for him. I got his motivation. He's in debt. He has to fulfill the debt. This is next. And then when he heard like, yo, there's actually some beef here with my my slaver, let me go ahead and fix this. That made sense. And while he was so committed, 50,000, not even close. That joint had me. That was hilarious to me. Imagine like you like, yo, I'm like really chipping around, and he was like, you know we're close, like what's up? Someone's saying appearance is nice, but honestly for a badass he came off as underwhelming. Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was great. I thought he was cool. Like I said, the reason why all these people, these huge characters seem underwhelming is not because DC has a villain problem. I think it's the opposite. I think in terms of villains, DC's villains far top most of the Marvel villains. And the only reason that I think the Marvel villains are doing better, even though there are a lot of villains that aren't doing great. Thanos, which we could say is Darkseid's competitor, was teased throughout multiple movies over 10 years. So we felt that dread. We felt that fear. And that's not here. And I'm going to say it throughout this entire stream. We are not going to feel that excitement until they just get rid of it. Like we need that extra. We need that extra there. Steppenwolf was great. I love that. Richard. Yeah, but all in all, I did think he looked cool. I like how they scaled them too. I like that Darkseid and Steppenwolf were huge men. Or are they men? Are they non-binary? These are questions we need to ask ourselves now. But either way, I just liked how they were huge. But besides that, like, what is truly y'all help me here. What is truly this dark? Don't tell me what y'all know from the comics. What is Darkseid's true motivation here for destroying the planet, right? Like for the MCU with Thanos, we felt why he was doing it. And they changed it from death, right? They changed his story, but I still felt like, okay, this is something he's been going at to reach this goal. But I didn't feel that, right? Someone's saying control, Damon. You're saying control. The anti-life. Yeah, the anti-life. But what is that? For what? It's on Earth. The anti-life equation is on Earth. Okay, we feeling that there. But why is it so imperative that he needs it? And remember, I'm asking you as a viewer, okay? Sometimes we gotta look at this like this isn't, because yes, they pull from the comic books, but this is an original story. Yes, in the comics it makes sense, but here it didn't make as much sense to me. And they're saying that's how he controls Superman, and that's the thing too. He hasn't interacted with Superman yet. Am I missing something? He has not interacted with him. So for me, I was just confused on like, how can he say that Superman's the only one to stop him? How could he have that fear for him? He hasn't interacted. Superman about 30. I don't know how old he is, maybe 35, but he rolled up on Earth thousands of years ago. So I don't know. The motivation there was a little off for me. But all in all, I like the fight scenes. I gotta give it to y'all. The fight scenes were fire. And giving the final W to Wonder Woman was my bread and butter. I was feeling that because I need y'all to remember that Wonder Woman is on par, and they showed it. I think they finally scaled it. She is so... Superman is so OP that, of course, Wonder Woman can't kill Superman, obviously, in terms of like just brute strength. But if there was a real life fight, I think she would have beat him. And mostly because Wonder Woman fights to kill. And Superman has a major weakness. Wonder Woman doesn't have a kryptonite. You get what I'm saying? If you gave her something that took away her strength and it was just hands, Wonder Woman is still messing you up with hands. She's still an Amazon. She's still getting to you. And I felt like she should be the leader. And there were just a lot of times where I felt like they weren't showing her as the leader. She's the leader. Yes, Batman is up there, but she's a co-leader with Batman because she is the strongest person there. Why would they let the woman be ahead of the white man? Exactly. With technique. Oh yeah, Darkseid didn't fear Superman because he never met him. Remember, they thought Earth didn't have any defenders. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, this is what I'm talking about, where the confusion came into. Yes, Darkseid was like, there's no defenders, but then there were visions that the box was getting, which he should have got too, where they were like, Superman, it has to be Superman, blah, 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 blah. And I was just confused on like, how do they know? So yeah, it was just confusing to me. I don't know how y'all thought, but I don't know. But I don't know. If I had to give this movie a rating, I give it, I don't know. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Let me tell you why. I think it was 10 times better than the original. I think that there were a lot of things that we were missing that they finally answered. The stories were moving. Did it save the DCEU? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I think it could have been perfect, and the DCEU may not have been something that could have been saved. How many Frankie Flames? 3 Frankie Flames, y'all. If you guys watch, I do fast reviews. I'm going to do a fast review for people who didn't come into the stream. But I do think it was mid. And my biggest gripe is that people are pretending and turning a blind eye to the flaws when, Wonder Woman didn't get that courtesy, when, just other people didn't get that courtesy in the DCEU, and I thought it was alright. I thought it was okay. I think that people, and thank you guys for liking the stream. People were saying I'm disappointed in your rating. Joe, y'all, I really don't know. And please start to tell me in these comments. We have 15 minutes. Let's go through it. But like, what? Yeah, I think it was better than a 6. Yeah, there weren't times. Oh yeah, welcome, Afrothilla Ninja, fire name. But yeah, y'all didn't think there were a time that you were like, yo, I'm bored. There weren't times that things dragged on. Y'all weren't tired of slow-mos by the 10th slow-mo? Like, if we were in a movie theater, if you watched this in a movie theater, which is what this was intended to be, do you think that you'd be like, yo, better than Joshua Grady? This movie was better than Endgame? I disagree wholeheartedly. Endgame has, this is the thing, Endgame, okay, actually, let me say this. Standalone films, I can understand your thought process there. Because Endgame, if you did not watch the other movies, didn't make any sense, right? But for storyline and pulling from other plot points, I don't think that this movie did it on the level that Endgame did. And there's no way that they could, because they're pulling from 2 movies. And I get it. There's excitement there. Like, we feel like we are producers of this movie. And I think that's why people are holding on to it so tight. Because they're like, I executive produced this movie through my complaints. And we are the reason why Snyder Cut is in. So I feel that kinship you guys are feeling. But yes, I could say that you can compare this to the first Avenger movie. And yes, I think it's on par with the first Avenger movies. And the reason why the Avenger movies got better as we went along was because there were more movies building the characters, and we cared about these characters. When Superman died and Batman versus Superman, I couldn't care less. I didn't care like, oh, what can the world do without him? Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Someone said, I'm a Lord of the Rings and Matrix fan, so length of slow-mos don't hurt me. This is the thing about the Matrix, y'all. When the Matrix came out with the slow-mo and those graphics, I was, I don't know, 9 or 10. I'd never seen anything like it. Never in my life. Welcome, Ron, to the stream. I see you joined in. So the slow-mos didn't bother me there. And the same for Lord of the Rings. It was an epic tale. But the thing is, I felt like this movie assumed things that we haven't found out. And you can't, y'all need to stop relying on your comic book knowledge. Because there are things that we're pulling from that we know because we read the comics. That means that this failed us. We should know. It should be inferences and stuff that we pulled from this form of art, right? All of this is a universe that they're building. But yeah, the Snyder, it was overkill. It was overkill. I think the movie was way too long. And if it taught me anything, it taught me that Zack Snyder is not a great editor. He's not. And if we watched this in the movie theater, y'all would be tight. I'd be like, what was going on? You'd be lost. Without the breaks, because, come on, most of us had to take breaks to fully process this movie. When the Avengers Endgame happened, I was watching it open, and I was watching it, and I didn't realize the 4 hours came on. This movie, I thought, ended 3 or 4 times. It dragged, and if we were in the movie theater, y'all die. Y'all wouldn't be able to handle it. You know it. I know it. And this is a safe space, at least right here. I know they killing me, but this is a safe space to say it. And you're saying I'm just biased. Y'all, I grew up on DC. I love DC. I couldn't go to sleep without Batman. DC. I want DC to be great. And that's why I critique it so hard. Because 2 things. One, they have the formula. 3 things actually. 1, they've been doing movies way longer than Marvel has. Um, and I think that they had that should have gave them advantage. But then when Marvel started doing a different formula and they saw that it was doing well, then I feel like they should have changed it up. And they didn't. Even with this, they should have used this cheese to get Zack Snyder to do a Batman and Cyborg movie, to do an Aquaman and Wonder Woman movie, and a Flash movie. And then drop this. We would have liked it a lot better, and it would have been a lot shorter. This guy, Joshua Grady, just doesn't like Marvel. That's why he's talking about Endgame sucks. Objectively, Endgame was a decent movie. At minimum, you could say it was decent, but to say this is better than Endgame is crazy. But yeah, this movie is definitely better for streaming, and that's what I'm saying. That's my final point to y'all. This movie was not made. I'm going to say it again, right into the mic. This movie was not made as a movie. This was a series that we watched, and it's a decent series. And thank you guys for liking the live stream and showing us. But this movie was all about getting the box. You can't tell me women weren't the motivation. I think if this movie did anything, it opened the door for DC movies or series HBO Max because it was success. Yes. I think that it opened up. Yes. I think that there are doors open now that previously was closed. I think that the movie was decent, and I think that there was definitely room for improvement. Was it the best piece of cinema I'd ever seen? No. Was it the worst? Also, no. Was it better than Whedon's? Absolutely. So I think as a series, it's decent. As a movie, it was okay. But yeah, you guys, I'm going to drop a fast review next week so you guys can talk to me. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit me up. Thank you guys for taking the journey. I'm going to start doing this every week. Today was, of course, us talking about just the Snyder cut, but I want to take this time to really go over my hot takes. So every week I'll do a hot take and I'll come on here live so we can discuss it live. So definitely pull up, you guys. We had about a steady stream of 50 viewers over all the platforms, which I'm very excited about. I'm happy that you guys could join me here. And we're open. Like, I get it. It's hard when you like something and someone speaks against it, but like, that's the point of art. I'm really loving it. I love that you guys, took this journey with me. I definitely have some fighting words, and, I'm here to talk with you guys one-on-one and to really see where this is at. So this has been really fun. We're going to do this every week. Next week, maybe we'll talk about whatever's hot. There's definitely some things I want to get out. But yeah, shout outs to the Martian Manhunter Deathstroke cameo. Shout outs to all of y'all for coming. I didn't even fast forward the panning scene. All right, so y'all just talking in here now. That's what I like to hear. But yeah, you guys pull up. I'm here on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. You can find me on all of those platforms at Fantastic Frankie, FRANKEY. And we're going to talk next week. Look, we got a lot to talk about. Definitely Captain the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'd be very interested to dissect that with you guys. And yeah, we're going to talk about these hot takes live. So whenever you guys have gripes, you could talk to me one-on-one right here. And we could really dive into it. But I got to tell y'all, until that time, have a fantastic